East Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NETsn Weekly Wrap-Up Show, Week 8. It's Bret here alongside Corey Marshall and Vincent Johnson. Fellas, how's it going this week?
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. It was some big games last week. We got some guys here already joining us. We've got Chris with us tonight. Good evening, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
And
What's going on, Chris?
Eddie got a big rivalry game coming up this week that we'll talk about. The big Texarkana inter-district rivalry. So that should be a good one to talk about here this week. Man, there was some good games last week, guys, and some rough pick'ems. At least it was for me. I don't know how y'all's went, but I had a rough week.
It was rough.
Pretty sure I did too.
Yeah, we'll talk about those games and how there was some pretty good matchups this week, and they were tough ones to pick, and it showed to this week's numbers. So I want to give a shout out to our biggest pick'em week yet. We had 12 people pick games this week. That was our highest number of the season. So thank everyone for joining us in our pick'em challenge. Continue to spread the news around about our pick'em challenge. You can always jump in. It's a week-to-week thing. We're keeping a tally for the season. We always tally for the week. We got some other guys with us here. Looks like we've got Derek joining us. What's up, Derek? Derek, how are you feeling after Winsboro goes and knocks your team off, and then they go and throw a blank against Pottsboro? I'm sure that was a shocker to you.
Nobody saw that come. We didn't see that come.
We did talk about it being a trap game, though. We did talk about that.
Well, so here's the thing, though. I went and looked that up. Pottsboro ain't lost but one game. And the only game they lost to was to another team that had another team named Whitesboro that had only lost one game too. So, like, all of those teams are pretty strong. I just didn't know nothing about Pottsboro going into that.
Well, we all missed it. Everybody picked Winsboro in that game, so it was a tough one. We got Eddie said he was 6 for 10. And we'll talk about that, Eddie. Here's our man Jake from Lindale chatting in earlier with us. He said, I'm going to start off by saying Crow doesn't taste too bad with ketchup, LOL. I'll admit CH is the real deal. Well, Jake, welcome to the show. Glad you're able to catch us live tonight. And we talked about it. You know, the speed kills, and Chapel showed it again. We'll kind of recap all this week. We'll start off by everyone's favorite segment.
Late to get to this good-looking winner, Uncle Mo. He demolished the field. He won by 15 lengths. He won by more than that.
And I think Uncle Mo had trouble this week, guys. Uncle Mo decided he's going to award it to an entire team this week just because it was too hard to give out awards. he's going to give it to the Chapel Hill Bulldogs this week as they put a smackdown on Lindale. Let me give y'all some stats here for Chapel Hill this week. Demetrius Brisbane threw 6 of 8 for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tyson Berry had 4 carries for 85 yards and 3 touchdowns. Demetrius Brisbane had 12 carries for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ricky Stewart had 12 carries for 192 yards and a touchdown. Even had Quentin Greenlee that got in the game. He had 4 carries for 29 yards. Then you had receiving Tyson Berry, 3 catches, 90 yards and a touchdown. Deuce McGregor, 2 catches, 70 yards and a touchdown. And then, of course, Tyson Berry, 212 kickoff return yards with 2 touchdowns. Deuce also had a 55-yard opening kickoff return that would have been a touchdown, minus the kicker tripping him up. Man, I mean, not to mention the defensive touchdown by Kevion Huddleston. Chapel Hill with a school record 79 points against rival Lindale in a game we've talked about a lot over the last few years. It's been a tough one for Chapel to get by. And man, boy, was that one sweet. Now, I like Derek's comment here. He said it's kind of like sweet revenge, and it was, Derek. Man. What do y'all think about those numbers? Anything jump out at you?
The W. The W jumps out.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only thing I said it before the season, like I said, reiterated before. There's 3 games I was focused on. It was the Gilmer game, Palestine game, and the Lindale game. And they've progressively gotten better each week. And I don't want to say they're at their peak because defensively there's some things that they can cover up, they can get better at. But offensively, I think they're at their point where they're clicking on all cylinders at this point.
It's hard for the defense to catch their breath when the offense doesn't give them much break, though. I mean, I want to say that Chapel Hill probably had somewhere around 10 minutes of total offensive possession in the game.
Right.
I mean, honestly, you're scoring in 3 or 4 plays, then your defense is scoring, you're getting kickoff returns. I mean, there was one time that the defense went out there 3 straight possessions without a break. Like they got the sideline, they kicked the extra point. Lindale did, and then they, Chapel Hill got the kickoff return, ran it back. So now Chapel Hill's back on defense. They did the same thing a couple times in a row, and it's like Brisbane was over there drinking some water, kick back, relaxing. Offense was well rested because they didn't have to do a whole lot. They were on the field for very short times and just boom, boom, boom. And I know I retweeted a couple times that one Ricky Stewart run just encapsulates the kind of runner he is. I mean, you showed it from several angles, but that back angle, man, he just that little slight move, what we talk about. He's so good at just going side to side ever so slightly and hitting that hole hard. I mean, that run was incredible.
Yeah, 12 carries, 192.
Yeah, he didn't even break a sweat.
But as they always say, the game's over. Look forward to next week. Endo's trying to make the playoffs. Take care of business. Don't give me any room. We all know what the big battle, the big showdown is going to be in week 10 or week 11. So,
Corey, I heard you might even make an appearance, Corey.
I might shave and everything. Make an appearance. Come out.
Chris says we had to get the W. I loved it.
We had to.
Yeah.
We had to.
All right. So that being said, we're going to move on and look at some picks here. Again, guys, it was a rough week, but there were some picks that were a little harder than others this week, but there was a lot of good games. We start off with a good 7-mile rivalry, Arp and Troop. Troop, I thought, was a heavy favorite here in this one overall by the way they played this season, and they did pick up the win pretty convincingly over the Arp Tigers. I was going to say, Eddie's asking who got the most correct this week. And Eddie, that's going to go to Derek. Derek got the most correct. Derek got 8 out of 10. So a nice week for Derek in this one. That was a really tough one.
One of those L. Chapel Hill versus Lindale. I just want to know, Derek. I know he's going shade week after week. No trick plays this past week.
Actually, no. Derek did pick Chapel Hill, so it wasn't one.
Way to go.
And Vince, your Fighting Art Tigers went down. That was one that you had. What did you see in that game?
Nothing really. I just didn't know who to pick. Honestly, it was two teams that were. Before that, I
Troop's a better team, Vince.
Yeah, but I don't know. I really ARP's win against what team was that early on is the reason I really picked. I thought they might pull it
They
off.
beat is it Tenaha they beat earlier?
Tenaha, yeah. And at the time, Tenaha had, if I'm not mistaken, Tenaha was undefeated when they beat them, wasn't it?
Well, Tenaha is a little bit smaller. They're in 2A. So
they're in 2A. So I didn't take that into account. So
well, if you're using the Corey theory, it doesn't matter what classification you're in, just get the win. So
just get the win. Okay. I took an L on that one.
Yeah. The next game, game 2, we had Hallsville White House. And I missed this one, guys. I thought Hallsville. Yeah. I thought Hallsville was the real deal, man. I've seen them the way they played early in the year, and even though White House has the record, after they lost to Nacogdoches, I just kind of lost some confidence in White House, honestly. And they proved me wrong. White House got the win. We've got
that might mean the worst, but consistently they've yet to. I've looked at it. I was doing my research the other day. Marshall, I've been big on Marshall this year. They've won a game, lost a game throughout the entire year. Like they win one that you can't get a streak going. Hallsville's been able to get a streak going. They end up losing that game, obviously, but they've had a nice little streak going, winning a couple of games in a row. White House, they're 6-1.
Yeah,
they're 6-1. I mean, they the real deal.
And if you think about it, it seems like they're 2-6. They got beat by Nacogdoches. That's a bad loss. Okay, no problem. But they're 6-1, and they had a convincing win against Hallsville. They're clearly the number 2 team in the district now, which is crazy. That Nacogdoches.
When you think about their wins, they score at least 40-something points a game.
Yeah.
Well, then you have Eddie's guy here says Marshall almost upset Texas High this week.
And Texas High is going to be high in this district. I don't think Texas High is that good, but I think they're good. But I think either the district is catching up, or Texas High may not be that good. And when I say they may not be that good, I'm not saying they're horrible. I'm saying by metric standards, top 2 or 3 in the state. I'm saying they may not be just that dominant, should I say?
Saying they only
you got to think too, though. People can slip up. People can have an off night. You got to understand that can happen. You could come out flat and get caught off guard. And to be honest with you, I'm willing to bet you that's what happened to White House in that Nacogdoches game. They didn't expect for White House to come out and jump on top of them, and it was a little too late for them to try to catch up. That happens to teams. I'm not gonna hold nothing against Texas High because Texas High, I think they're ranked in the state, ain't they?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, they're always gonna be ranked in the state.
They are.
They probably are. Yeah.
There's a certain game Bret gets to that I want to talk about that.
Oh, okay. The next one, one that I missed this week, it was a very close one. Palestine beat Jacksonville 55-52 in a really probably one of the better games score-wise that we had this week. And I knew it would be a good matchup. And we talked about the main reason why I thought that Jacksonville had a chance to win this game is because they could do it both in the air and on the ground. Palestine, if they're in the game, they're tough because of the offense is just hard to play for a whole game. But if they get behind, then it's hard. And they stayed right with Jacksonville and were able to get the win. So now they've got kind of the advantage for that 4th spot in District 9. It's ended up going to be probably Palestine and Henderson playing for that 4th spot now. So I know y'all had Palestine, I think, both in that one, didn't you?
I picked Palestine. So what you're saying is Henderson
I can't
has.
remember. I kept going back and forth. I don't know if I picked Palestine or Jacksonville. I may have picked Jacksonville.
Yeah, Henderson has Chapel Hill, but then they have Palestine and Athens, I believe, the last 2 games. I was on the and I kind of ran through and didn't do our sponsors, but LoneStarGridiron.com. Make sure you go check them out. Our partner website. I actually was on the Henderson show this week with Terry. So go check that out if you listen to the podcast. And we talked about that this game for Henderson this week is more of let's get through this and not get injured. Not necessarily, I mean, they're still going to try to win, obviously, but they're better off getting through this game not being injured, because then they can, as long as they beat Palestine and Athens, then they're going to get in the playoffs. So they're kind of their last 2 games are going to be their determining factor. I mean, obviously, a win against Chapel Hill would be huge. I don't expect that, as Chapel Hill is just on the roll right now. But that's kind of where Henderson's looking at. They've still got a good chance now with the 2 teams in front of them beatable on their schedule. So I just don't see.
Just kind of say, listen, we're
First
prepare
of all, we understand you got to keep the peace in your house. So if you picking Jacksonville, I understand that.
I didn't pick them because you know me. I don't care. I mean, I go Jay's down all the time, man. Jay's down.
Oh man,
don't do that. Hey, don't say that too loud.
Hey, we whooped them the week before, and I didn't pull. I
Kristen to come down there and pull the plug real quick.
Oh, we got BJ. We got BJ Walton from Silsby. He's one of our Wide Right Scoreboard show, always giving us a Silby score.
What's going on, BJ?
Okay, what's up,
Thanks
BJ?
for joining us tonight, BJ. Glad you joined us. But yeah, I think that's more to me why I obviously, honestly, I'm trying to pick the correct game. So I'm not gonna just because I've got some in-law ties to Jacksonville. That's not why I picked them. I thought that they were, when I saw both teams, Palestine to me couldn't stop Chapel Hill at all in the second half. And I think they were, and when you get ahead of them, they're tough. They don't throw the ball well. So that's really, I mean, when you can only do one thing well, it makes it hard to beat teams on a consistent basis. So that's why I went with that way. And I thought, well, it's one I thought could go either way. I figured most people, like they did, would pick Palestine. So, I thought I might be able to steal one there when it was close enough to try to go the other way. It didn't work out, but it was a close game. It could have gone either way. I mean, it really could have.
Palestine was more complete than Jacksonville on their front, and I thought they had a better chance of winning. But, you could – I don't want to say you can flip it either way, but Palestine's played better throughout the year than Jacksonville has, more consistent throughout the year than Jacksonville has. So,
yeah, but the competition level is another thing that Palestine didn't challenge themselves as much in the preseason as Jacksonville did. Another reason why I thought maybe.
Well, you got to remember Jacksonville does have those injuries too, so that's why they look so bad against Chapel Hill, and they couldn't really run the ball effectively at that time anyway. At least Palestine was able to do it in the first half. The thing is, in high school, it's almost like running the football is king. If you could just run the football, that's gonna get you probably 6-7 wins. You can get away without passing a lot of times, and so it's easier to pick schools like Palestine when that's what they do well. Now I did kind of pick them apart a couple of weeks ago, but when you playing another team that might be on your same level, running the football may be what gets you out of that game with a W.
But that's also true if your defense is able to get stops. So if you can't stop anybody on the defensive end, you'll never be able to get back in the game and score as many points as they can. So
but think about it from this angle. You run the football well, and you get you get ahead in the game. Now you slowing the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the clock running.
Yeah.
So
you can score the clock. But if the other team scores quick, if the other team scores quicker than you, they score
now
by that.
Jacksonville does have McGowan.
Yeah.
On the team, but without the other, what was the other dude's name, Bret? The one that went out the game.
McEwen.
Yeah. But without him, it seemed like it was, just it seemed like the offense.
Yeah, that was because he was basically their main target on the outside. The running game, their running back was already out. I think he was
ACL
injury.
already gone. Yeah,
so he was out before the game. So then you took away their biggest weapon on the outside. It didn't have him struggle. We didn't know the injury, so I don't know if he played last week or not. They did score 52 points, so
well, it sounded like they probably did. Yeah, it sounded like they probably did play. So, I don't know.
The next one was also one we thought was going to be a good game. It turned out to be not a good game, as Center demolished Van. I believe they put up 63 points or something like that.
I thought it was going to be a good game. I didn't think it was going to be a good game.
I mean, I thought it was going to be a good game from you. Now, Corey, I know you picked Center, but you didn't think it was going to be a 63 to. I can't remember how many. Van didn't score very many.
That game,
you did not expect it to be that big of a blowout, though. Come on.
I knew exactly.
I'm not gonna say I thought it was going to be a good game, but I didn't think it was going to be that big of a difference. I mean, Van. Again, I think Van is a good team. Actually, I showed y'all like kind of how I did my little ratings and stuff, and I was grading teams.
63-21. There's the score. Thanks, Eddie.
It's not even really that Van may be bad or anything like that. It's that Center is really that good. Center is up there with, at the moment, Center to me is playing the way like Carthage and stuff and Gilmore are playing.
Whoa, slow your roll. Whoa, Vince.
That's a
little. Now, Russ, say this. Russ just beat them now.
Russ did, but man, and you know what? Hold on, let me get over here. I got my numbers.
Okay, you can. Come on now. Let me pull this I'm gonna admit that I was low on Van.
So I was low out though. But check this out though. So
Eddie says no. Eddie tells you no way. By the way, Vince.
Okay, I understand. But so they have 2 losses. Their 2 losses are to a North DeSoto team from Louisiana. The North DeSoto team, if I'm not mistaken, they have not lost a game at all.
That's Louisiana. That's not Texas football. So
that's not Texas, but it is. But they are undefeated. They are 7-0. They are 7-0.
Texas.
So to me, that's not an ugly loss. Then you got the Russ loss.
Y'all check Vince's temperature.
But then you got Russ, and they only lost to Russ by 5. So, but then think about this.
Van beat Rusk. Okay.
But then think about this. They put 65 on Dangerfield. And look how we rated Dangerfield.
Dangerfield is 3A, Vince. 3A.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Did we not think Dangerfield was supposed to be?
Simpson demolished Dangerfield.
But we thought that wasn't supposed to happen like that, right? And then we kept adding Dangerfield to our list the whole time.
I'm not saying Dangerfield's not good. That's not
we
what I'm
thought
saying.
Dangerfield was good.
They're good in their classification. That's great. Okay. But
what I'm saying is that to me, the 65 they put on Dangerfield, and then now the 63 they put on Van.
So you're telling me right now that you think that was more impressive than Chapel Hill demolishing Lindale right now. So you're putting Center ahead of Chapel Hill. That's what you're telling me.
Why? I'm not putting Chapel Hill in this at all. Why would I? I'm not.
You said, I quote, Center was up there with Gilmer and Carthage.
I think the way they're playing, yeah.
So you're telling me that they're playing better than Chapel Hill right now?
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say that. I know you want to do that, but here's what I'm gonna do.
I'm just telling you. That's what I'm asking.
No, since we go in there, let's do this. Okay. Chapel Hill lost to Van.
Yes.
Center just dropped 63 on them.
Do we want to go back and talk about why Chapel Hill lost to Van?
It don't matter. It don't matter. They lost.
Three touchdowns called back. We turned the ball over like crazy.
Excuses.
But this is week 8. This is week 8.
It
not
is.
week 2.
It is. So think about it. It's week 8, and they supposed
right
to be more
now,
polished than that.
If you're going to take a game, Chapel Hill Center, who you going with right now? Week 9.
I'm not picking that game. I'm just telling you. I think that's the way they play.
Here's another one. Here's another one. Center Kilgore right now, week 9. Who you going with? Okay, there's my point.
I could probably do
point. There's my point. Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead, Corey.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Like,
hold on.
What do your eyes?
And I'm not saying Center's not a good football team. I just don't think they're. I think they're below. There's Carthage and Gilmer right now that we obviously. I think there's another pack step down. I think there's Pleasant Grove, Chapel Hill, and Kilgore in that pack. I think Center's right at the top of that next group.
But you got to think about this.
Bad.
You about to put Kilgore in that argument though. But tell me this though: name a team that Kilgore beat that's better than the team that they just beat. That
Kilgore beat.
Yeah, Kilgore hadn't. The only impressive win is Lindale.
Country, Hallsville might be one. Hallsville might be one. But then there's Jacksonville, Lindale, who now we're starting to find out Lindale can't stop the run.
Well, which is that's Chapel Hill. That's different.
No, that was Kilgore too. Kilgore ran 340 some yards on.
Well, but I still think that's a good win. You mean you're telling me that here we go, Derek. Derek's got me. He says they're a tier 3 team.
Tier 3? Okay, so here's what I'm looking. Here's what I'm thinking. All right. And let me clean this up just a little bit.
Y'all okay.
So I don't think Van was that good. I thought they were well coached. I just don't think they were that good, and I still stick by that. And they probably played hand to a lot of teams that may have turned the ball over. They may have got sloppy. But Chapel Hill plays Van again. Chapel Hill plays Van again. They beat them the same way they beat Lindale. If Russ plays Van again, they'll probably beat Van, any different. I think Carthage is not Carthage. I think Center is a tier 2 school. I don't think they're tier 3. I think they are tier 2. I think they're talented enough. We've seen Center before be talented. They are just as talented as anybody else. They are very talented. I think you get the ball rolling a little bit. I think they can come out there, flex their muscle. I think they are right at the bottom of a tier 2. I think Chapel Hill's right at the bottom of their talent-wise. They are. They haven't been playing like that. Mm-hmm. They've won 5 in a row. Who have they played in that 5 in a row is a big question. They hadn't. That Carthage game, the Kilgore game at the end of the year is going to be the measuring stick. But at the end of the day, Chapel hadn't played as the good of a talent in the district as they had. But at the end of the day, Center's still beating teams. They blasted Van, a decent, well-coached Van football team. I'm not going to disrespect Van and say they're horrible. I'm just saying they're not as good as they think they are.
We got a new person here, Joe. So Joe R. Shout out to Joe. Thanks for joining us tonight, Joe. He says Center and Kilgore scrimmaged and Center lost by 1 or 2 touchdowns.
I can believe that.
Not bad.
So that's why here's Derek's statement, and I agree with Derek right here. Tier 2, Chapel Hill, Kilgore, and Pleasant Grove. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think we'll see what they do this week. Center's got their hands full. If they
do, they got Carthage
on the board with Carthage. They can keep Carthage close. And I think they may be on.
If they score 21 points, I'll give them credit.
Right. I just think right now. I think right now this is a good mark of who's right there next to him. I just don't think Center's there. They lost if they hadn't lost to Rusk. If they hadn't lost to Rusk, I put them in tier 2. When they lost to Rusk, we saw Van beat Rusk.
So Rusk is good. Rusk is a good football team.
They're good, but they're not. I don't think they're tier 2.
But what is that saying though? Because here's the thing: they only lost by 5.
Yeah,
they only lost by 5.
How many they lost by. I don't care how many they lost by. Now, how they lost is a different story. How they lost, they threw 6 interceptions or whatever. That's different. But
and then, like you said, Van beat Russ, but then turned around and played Center and got blasted.
Yeah.
Van's a matchup problem. If you don't take care of the ball, and if you play in Van, it's tougher to win. I will say that. So
I'm like I said, my gut. I just don't. I don't.
I don't give them no
Would I
crown
fear
over
Van?
Cambridge.
Would I
I'm just
fear
saying I
Van
think
in
they
the
play
playoffs?
Well, hey, listen. We can continue this because I have a feeling when we get to our polls that we're going to have some more conversation about this. Let's get through these.
Go
They
ahead.
ain't better than
picks that we had. We got a few chats here before we move on. We got Eddie says Carthage will have twos, or I guess that's the second stringers in by the third quarter. And then we got Carthage won't let it even be close, says Derek. Joe R says key players were out for that Russ Center game. So I guess Joe, are you from Center, Joe, by chance? Let us know because we like to know where all our people are from. That helps us with our perspective on
from that area. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we
riding
appreciate it.
Center and Russ for a long time this year, so
If Center does score 21, it'll be trash points, according to Derek.
it's going to be a trash game. They're going to put up 21 points.
All the hatred for Center.
The disrespect.
Here we
Golly.
go. I didn't show disrespect. I think they're a good team. I just don't think they're as high as what
Bret,
people said.
you was throwing shade. You was throwing a little shade there.
I never said they weren't good. Did I ever say they were not good?
You said
No, I did not.
They are the bottom of the tier 2 schools. They are right. They're right. They're on that borderline.
You could flip the coin. You could flip the coin. I just don't.
Come on, man. Let's do this. Come on, let's do it.
So game 5 was Atlanta and Jefferson. Jefferson beat Atlanta. I was surprised. I had Atlanta in that game.
That was
had Atlanta as well.
I think everybody had Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, no, we had a lot of people had Jefferson. We had let's see here. We had let's see who had Jefferson. We had Chris Blevins, James Duke. Let's see, Terry Bennett and Derek and Casey Fornquist.
Dang.
All had Jefferson. It was pretty evenly split. Yeah, Derek, that was the one that got you. That's the one that you got you. It is Jefferson. I think Eddie had Atlanta.
We were wrong.
Gladewater next.
Yeah.
And if Gladewater wins that game, I'm just gonna be pissed off.
Yeah, Gladewater's
picked to win it.
They've had a down year.
Here you go. You got good authority.
No, I'm looking at
Vince has got a cousin in Gladewater.
I'm looking online. I'm looking online.
That next one, game 6, was kind of evenly split as well. We had West Rusk, Grand Saline, and West Rusk is who I thought they were. They continue to climb up the state polls, and they big win over Grand Saline.
West Rusk. No disrespect for West. We were wrong. Y'all were ranked number 10 in the state since the state polls opened up in the beginning of the year, and hats off to you. You finally solidified this state rank. More power to you.
The game they had against Timpson is what sold me. So I guess he's talking about Jefferson when they played Timpson. So shout out to Derek, man. That was a good pick. Good pick, Derek. The next one, Carlisle straight away. Everybody had Carlisle. They continue to roll. I don't think Carlisle will have really much competition until the playoffs at this point. So they continue to roll. And then we all got the big L when Winsboro went down. Man, I was surprised when I saw that score, guys. And I hate that I even mentioned it as a trap game, but it kind of was coming off that big high, beating Mount Vernon, and then going down. Derek, what do you think that means for your district now? I know he's got that the Mount Vernon. I'm sure he was surprised that they lost. Any insight that you've got of what happened, if they had anybody go out injured or anything like that could have affected that game? I was just really surprised by that. We talked about that on the Wide Right Scoreboard show. That was one of the games that we were kind of shocked by.
The hardest thing for 17 or 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids to do is to take 1 week, shake it off. You can shake off a loss because it's over. You know what I'm saying? That's the easy thing to do is shake off a loss because you're mad. The next team's going to, but a win, especially you've been reading the newspaper, you may have been watching our show, you may have been, looking at the next thing we ought to beat this team. It's no problem. Boom, it happens. Other teams prepared, they're hungry. It's hard, man. It's difficult to win week by week. So that'll prove it. And we've been around sports a long time. You already know the thing. Like the hardest thing to do is to win week by week. Take 1 week at a time and win again. It's hard to prepare for another school this week.
He said he watched the end of the game. Pottsboro scored 2 TDs late. So yeah, shout out to Pottsboro. Big win for them. That district's kind of going to be a three-way tie. Looks like. I don't know. Mount Vernon and Pottsboro will have to play now. So I guess if Mount Vernon was to get a win, that would put Pottsboro with a loss, and they'd all have a loss there. So that'll be interesting how that works.
Mount Vernon would be Pottsboro. It'd be something miraculous. Mount Vernon would be Pottsboro. They'll blow out Pottsboro.
Yeah, and then it could be like a three-way tie. They could go down to a point differential or whatever the district. Derek says they play week 10, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, they play late at the end.
Yeah.
What a great season it's shaping up to be.
Yeah. Game 9, no surprise here. Carthage handles Rusk. Corey's Rusk Eagles just couldn't come up with a win. He was the only lone man on the island there with Coach Sitton and the Rusk Eagles.
I tried. I was rooting for you.
And then, of course, Game 10, the game we kind of talked about right off the open, as Chapel Hill demolishes Lindale 79-45. School record 79 points. Just it was like a basketball score. I mean, it was back and forth. Logan and I had to call on Texan Live, and we were almost speechless at some points. It was just like, wow.
I'm gonna keep saying it.
Floodgates.
I'm gonna keep saying it. No disrespect to anybody else. Ricky Stewart's the best running back in East Texas.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it just showed it. Some of the clips. Check out the clip that we tweeted on Twitter if you haven't seen it of that one run that Ricky Stewart had. That cut he had is a college and pro type cut.
I'm not saying that to be a homer either. We watch a lot of football. We cover a lot of teams, and I do a lot of research there too. Kid is ridiculous, and he's doing it maybe on half of the carries that other guys are doing it on.
Yeah, 192 yards on 12 carries. So that's like a weekly thing for him. Eddie says, how many yards does he have on the year? Good question. Eddie,
I believe 800.
I can give you.
We can find it.
Let's see. I can find it here. Let's see. Rushing yards, 1,026 yards on 92 carries. 146.6 yards a game. He's got 7 rushing touchdowns. So 11.2 yards a carry, not too bad. Yeah. I mean, you're talking 92 carries, and they've played what? 7 games. Yeah. So that's pretty nice average there to kind of keep your back fresh, and that's going to set them up nice, having him fresh for the playoff run coming up. All right, guys, let's move on to our poll segment so we can see how many things that we have different here. We'll start with our 6A, 5A poll, and we have no change in the top 2 here. Was Longview and Texas High continue to hold the top 2 spots with no problem. This week, sliding up to number 3, White House. 4 is Lufkin. A tie for 5th, Hallsville and Lancaster. 7th is Marshall. 8 is Forney. 9, Tyler High, and 10, Mount Pleasant.
Shout out to Tyler High.
Tyler High with the win. Hey, yeah, that's one of the bigger games of the week that we have on tap of Tyler High and Lufkin.
That's need to be paying attention to that because
the loser of that game probably. Tyler High's got about 8 quarterbacks. I don't know which one's going to play.
Tyler High they ain't got 8. They got 1. They got 1.
They got 1.
They got 100. They don't play the other ones. So
well, I know they have several.
1. Oh, they got people who play quarterback, but they don't play. They don't play.
Okay, let's move on.
Eddie says our leading rusher has 820 yards with 8 TDs.
How many attempts?
How many carries is going to be that? Eddie? That would be interesting to see. Any surprises there for y'all?
Tyler High. That's the only thing I said.
Tyler High, man, they got a chance to make playoffs, and they got
to have that one this week. They got to be Lufkin. Lufkin sitting at 1-3.
You need to be paying attention to this game because this is gonna get them in playoffs. They need this. They need the Forney game. They got to get this one. They got to get it. They played a really good game last week. I was there. They got to get this. That's the only way I can put it. Like they in a situation where like there is no options. Like you control your own destiny. I know the season has looked bad before then, but that don't matter now. That don't matter. All that stuff that happened.
All you got to do is get in the dance.
All you got to do is get in.
That's all it takes.
Put everything else behind you.
Eddie says their leading rusher has 9.1 yards a carry. That's not bad. It's pretty good. Pretty good average.
Who?
It's not 11.2, but it's close.
Man, anytime you can get above.
He's talking about the leading rusher for Pleasant Grove.
Oh, for Pleasant Grove? Okay.
I have a feeling it has to do with that great offensive line, Eddie. That your son is on. I'm sure that he's leading the way there, opening holes for him. That's very important. You can't forget about the big boys up front. I think my main surprise here was the disrespect for Lancaster. Lancaster is ranked in the state. They're right behind Longview in the district race, and they can't get any votes from CM. So CM, why can't Lancaster make your poll?
Go ahead.
Because of East Texas. I'm only doing East Texas schools. I know they're part of East Texas district, but I'm not giving them account for East Texas. I'm only doing East Texas schools. So therefore, they won't.
Close enough. They're close enough to East Texas to get a vote.
That's UIL's fault. They shouldn't put them in the same district.
If you didn't have them in, who did you put in?
I forgot the whole poll. I got to put
Pine Tree at 1-6. I can't. See, that's my problem. Is I can't give a vote if I got a team that's close enough on the edge, and we're already pulling from a small pool as it is. Like Forney's on the edge too. I give Forney votes because
I just rank who's ever there. You got to rank whoever's there. I know what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I know what you're saying, but I'm only looking at East Texas, considered East Texas schools. That's the only thing I'm looking at.
No,
I gotta have the edges. I gotta have the edges if it's a good team.
Ain't no excuse for that.
Especially in the 5A.
Ain't no excuse for that.
Where's Malakoff in East Texas? Where's Malakoff? Anyway, Anyway,
Malakoff is
don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me because you overlooking Lancaster.
We don't. Let's hold off. That's 3A, 2A. Let's move on to 4A here, guys, before y'all start going at it here. 4A, kind of the same as 6A, 5A. The top two remain the same as Carthage and Gilmer stay 1-2. 3 moving up this week is Pleasant Grove. Slotting in at 4, moving up 3 spots this week is Center. At 5, we've got Chapel Hill, moving up 4 spots from number 9. We've got Kilgore at 6. We've got Lindale at number 7. We've got Sulphur Spring. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm reading off the wrong poll. Disregard those. I was wondering. It was trying a little strange there for a minute. Disregard those. We're going to go back to week 9 here instead of week 5 that was on there. So, all right, we go. Still Carthage and Gilmer 1-2. We've got Kilgore at 3, Chapel Hill 4, Pleasant Grove at 5, Sulphur Springs at 6, Center and Liberty Ilo at 7 with a tie there. Kaufman at 9 and Rusk at 10.
No love for Paris.
Thoughts on that? Paris, they're 1-6. How are you giving them votes, Corey? I was like, how did you vote for Paris at 1-6?
I didn't want to put Lindale in there, but I did.
Wait, how about Van?
I didn't put Lindale in there.
Oh, Van's not getting my poll. You already know
Van's better than Paris.
Yeah,
I know Paris beat Land, but they're still better. That's their only win on the year, by the way. But you have Corey. You didn't include Liberty Ilo in your poll.
Well, I think that's what I was looking at after I sent it off. I couldn't remember if it was Paris or Liberty Ilo. I have to put Paris there. So that was my mistake. So
Derek's got a question for us. He said, "Are y'all paying attention to Stephenville, China Spring?" Absolutely. Actually, Terry Bennett and Grant Goodwin, our buddies from Lone Star Gridiron and Sideline to Sideline, are going to be at that game. I'm jealous, by the way. That's going to be an incredible game this week. Probably one of those two will be representing Region 2 in the state game. I'm fairly highly sure on that one. And then we've got Eddie given Chapel Hill made the AP poll this week. Yeah, I would imagine so after that slaughter we put on Glendale. I think Kaufman dropped out. They lost to Anna, and so they dropped out, which Anna was ranked. So that's not a bad loss for Kaufman by any means. Eddie says Pleasant Grove should be higher.
Meh.
I don't know. I mean, they're right where we think they are. They're in the tier 2 range. You got Carthage and Gilmer, and then you got Chapel Hill, Kilgore, and Pleasant Grove. I think you could put any of those.
I had them higher in my poll. I had them number 4.
I had Sulphur Springs number 4, and then Liberty Island.
I'm gonna say,
5.
Eddie, you have anybody to take aim at Vince, as Vince had Pleasant Grove at number 9, so that's why they're a little lower. I actually had Pleasant Grove at 4 as well.
I'm not moving it either. I'm sorry, Eddie.
Eddie says
Pleasant Grove don't have no schedule to back up me putting them over Sulphur Springs at all. At all.
He says our only 2 losses are to ranked teams.
Sulphur Springs ain't lost to 1.
I mean, just
we lost to a ranked number 1 team and a number 2 ranked team.
Okay.
So I mean, he's got valid points there. I don't think they're 9. I like where they fell in the poll. I think that's about right.
9. They should be at least top 5.
No, they're definitely not 9. Yeah, they're top 5. And that's the thing. Corey and I's weight, we kind of countered it and brought them up.
So
that's why they have over Liberty Island.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They play this week, so we'll know. They play this week. That's one of the games in our pick'em. Pleasant Grove, Liberty Island should be a pretty good one.
I'm gonna say this. I think, to be honest with you, and just looking at that 4A poll, I think Sulphur Springs is as strong as Center and those other schools. That because I think Sulphur Springs is really good. I mean, just looking at the 4A poll, to be honest with you, there's Carthage, Gilmer. That's at tier 1. Tier 2 would be.
So listen to what you just said. Now think about this though. Liberty Island lost to Sulphur Springs, and then they lost to Gilmer.
I think Liberty Island's in that tier with Rusk. To me, I think they're decent. I think they're good, but they're not like backbreaking good. I think Sulphur Springs is a lot better than what we're giving them.
We're gonna know.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you dealing with a lot of things. Remember, I sent y'all that picture, and I wrote at the top of it. This is the battle of the 5 and 2s, because a lot of these teams are 5 and 2, and you
got Sulphur Springs. Sulphur Springs has still got to play Anna as well.
And this is the other thing too. A lot of those losses, I look at those teams who lost against those other teams early. That's the other thing I count in too. Who are those early losses? So if you played against a team that's ranked number 1 in the first couple of weeks, and now you've been rolling these past, you ain't lost a game since. I count that. That's
Chapel Hill.
I mean that means something. Kilgore's the same way. They hadn't lost any games like that. Kilgore's been rolling.
It says Sulphur Springs is going to get slaughtered by Anna.
So here's the thing about the Pleasant Grove loss. They lost to. Let me make sure I got this right because I wrote this down. And they lost to Bird High School, who is in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the reason I put them where I put them at was because that team is 4 and 2. So they may have been ranked number 2 at the time in state when they played them week 2, but they ain't ranked number 2 now. They ain't been ranked like that since.
Well, that's the hard thing about playing against a team from another state. I mean, you don't know how really good they are, if they're ranked over there or they be ranked over here. It's hard to. It's like apples to oranges. You can't really. It's hard to compare because you don't have anything to compare.
But that's what I went off of. So when I looked at that and I start comparing the losses, to me, when I looked at Liberty Island, in my mind, I was like, these are some really strong losses. So that's why I put Liberty Isle where I put them at versus Pleasant Grove. That's all.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. It's hard for me to, Pleasant Grove has played a tough schedule. Here we go. We got Eddie. He's got something for you, Vince.
Eddie.
He said, Vince lost me when he said center
You
is
know
good.
why he said that? Because he know I just made a good point. He know I just made a good point, so he don't want to hear me no more tonight.
That's hilarious.
Just
That's
remember
hilarious.
that.
I do think though, and this is why we do the polls and we have the balance of it out, and then we can talk about where we put each other or where we put the teams. Is it kind of balances? So Corey and I have, our poll is pretty similar. We basically had a couple of teams flipped, minus the Paris craziness. Corey lost me with Paris. There's no way you can defend that.
I was looking for another school. That was my mistake. I caught it.
like that. I can't argue with that. I can't argue for you, Corey. But our polls are pretty similar. We had Chapel Hill and Kilgore flipped. I had Chapel Hill at 3. Corey had them at 5. I had Kilgore at 5, and Corey had Kilgore at 3. We had Pleasant Grove in the middle. We had Center at 6. We had Sulphur Springs at 7. So basically, our top 7 were the same. And then I had Kaufman, Liberty Isle, and Rusk, as Corey had Rusk, Paris, and Lindale. So I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
This is why I can't. This is why I'm not buying that Liberty Isle thing yet. I'm not buying it yet.
Okay.
The first game of the season, of course, first game of the season, you beat Henderson 26-22. You beat Paris 28-0. You barely beat Mount Pleasant 14-12. You barely beat Atlanta 16-14. Any one of those games could have gone either way.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
Here's the thing. Is we going to count wins and losses, or we going to make excuses for every win and loss? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for no team. I'm just being clear, though. I'm just being clear. I'm not making no excuses for none of them.
What does your eyes tell you?
I can't. I didn't sit there and get to watch that game when they played.
I can look at the scores and tell you what my eyes tell you. They're a fringe team. They are a fringe team.
When I look at Liberty Isle, and see, there's Kaufman too.
Kaufman was state ranked before they lost to Anna.
They played 2 good football teams. Liberty Isle's played 2 good football teams. They lost against both of them. Liberty Isle got beat by Sulphur Springs and Gilmer. They played 2 good football teams, lost against both of them. I don't want anything else. 5-2. They haven't beat anybody. They ain't played anybody yet.
Here's Eddie says they won the tough games. Their defense is good. Of course, Gilmer put 59 on them.
So then give me your argument for the other side then. Who did Pleasant Grove play that was like that team to beat?
Well, I'm gonna use Bret's theory. Shreveport Birds bigger than them, so they lost against that team. They played a Midland team. They beat against a 5A team or 4A team. They beat them. Frisco Memorial is a 5 school. They beat them. I'm using Bret's theory, and then of course Paris, which is getting beaten by everybody getting beat up. So they've beat bigger school. Brock is not a pushover at all. Brock is still good. So using Bret's scenario, they played against bigger schools and they beat them.
That means they're probably pretty good.
They're decent.
Now, Jake's got something for you. He said, now, Corey, earlier you said a W is a W.
Exactly.
A W is a W. But what do your eyes tell you? They can still.
So hold on. Let me just, because see, I'm fact checking now. You told me Brock is a good school, but they 3-4.
Yeah. They're state ranked.
I don't care what the state says. They 3-4.
I believe they're ranked number 9 or 10.
And they lost the first 4.
Well, I think it's because they challenged themselves in preseason. You look at those. You look at the teams they played, and it's tough.
I'm looking at who played who won against who, and if you telling me that, I'm not saying that Pleasant Grove ain't better than Liberty Isle. I'm just saying when I looked at their losses, because I'm not comparing their wins no more. They each got 5 wins. I'm not going to judge who was better than who unless it's one of these teams that really stand out like a Carthage or something like that. I'm saying that when I looked at the losses, Liberty Isle's losses to me were against better teams. Both of them, I think, lost to Gilmer. So I canceled that out. But then you got Liberty Island, who lost to Sulphur Springs. Sulphur Springs ain't lost but one game. And then you got Eddie don't want to hear it because it's his team. He don't want to hear it. I'm sorry,
Is
Eddie.
Vince
I'm
talking?
sorry. I'm sorry, Eddie. You ain't gonna like me tonight. You ain't gonna like me tonight. I'm on one. I'm on one. And then you got Pleasant Grove, who lost to Bird. And regardless of what they said about Bird at the beginning of that year, Bird is 4-2. And I cannot sit there and think that 4-2 team is probably better than Sulphur Springs.
Well,
eye test.
There's good news for everybody. There's good news for everybody. And Eddie hits the head
And
on
you're
the nail.
right. Friday
we'll decide it. They'll get to play, and then we'll know.
And you know what? And whoever wins will get moved up. But until then,
maybe they might get moved up. Or you can put
I'm going to say that I'm almost certain Liberty Island gets beat by at least 4 touchdowns.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
It will matter.
Because the truth is, up until today, up until right now, you can't give me a good argument for it. There's no argument for me for you putting them on.
We've given arguments.
Okay.
Nah, they not good though. Nah, they trash arguments.
So I guess I'm guessing I know who Vince picked in the pick'em here shortly. I'm guessing I already know that.
Shreveport. He gonna change it all though. He picking Bird.
Y'all gonna make me, that's what I'm gonna do. You know what? Don't ask me for my poll next week.
Oh, here we go.
I'm putting Bird number one.
Eddie's calling out. His son's playing both ways now, so it's on. 13 tackles, 2 sacks, a block pass, and a T, whatever that is. Is that touchdown?
Touchdown. I'm assuming touchdown.
Okay.
Oh,
for loss.
Tackle for loss.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, that's awesome, Eddie. Shout out to your son there. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I think Corey and I are kind of on the same page, minus Paris. I think my main complaints are Kaufman's not getting enough love. I think they should be getting more love. I think Liberty Ilo's been missed. I know they're not. I think they're poll worthy right now. I think they should be in the top 10. And Corey, that's my main gripe on your poll. I think
I meant to put him in there where Paris was. I meant to put him in there.
There's no way Lindell should not be ranked after giving 79 points up. Corey, I'm sorry. They need to be gone out of the poll. And that's I think your other 8 picks. I think you're on. Rusk, I had them a little lower. I still think they're good. They should be ranked. Paris and Lindell, yeah. Vince, Van, I think they're garbage. I don't think they need to be in the poll. I don't know why you got them in there.
Who else was I gonna put?
I mean, I'd rather put Lindell or Van. I mean,
like what did you just say?
You didn't take Rusk. Rusk is better than Van. I'd put Rusk in.
I could have put Rusk in there. I wasn't thinking about Rusk at the time.
Yes, disrespect.
Listen,
you
put Lindell in there when they just got 79 put on their head.
If you don't know, who's in play, you can go to our website, netsn.live/district standings, and you can see all the teams that are in play each and every week.
Ain't gonna matter. Vince ain't gonna vote for him.
Don't worry about it. You need to be voting for Kaufman.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. The most interesting poll of them all usually is the 3A, 2A poll. And there's a lot of teams that we could argue in and out of this one. And this is always fun. And I'm going to scroll down to week 9 this week. So I make sure we got week 9 poll.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So everybody knows your boy Terry Bussey and crew is still at the top. Timpson still number 1. Carlisle slides up 1 spot. They are at number 2. CM Malakoff is at 3. Just Malakoff is at 3. And Corey already doesn't like it. He doesn't like it already, I see. Winsboro drops to him 2 to 4. Mount Vernon at 5. Beckville is also at 5 with Mount Vernon tied. Cooper at 7. Dangerfield 8. And at tie for 9th, Edgewood and West Rusk. What first reaction, fellas?
Who didn't vote for Malakoff for number 2?
Okay. I did not. I had them at 3, Corey. I had Malakoff at 3. I had Carlisle at 2. I had Timpson, Carlisle, Malakoff. Winsboro, Mount Vernon. Actually, my poll was almost the exact poll that was there. Let's see, 2, 4, 7. The top 7 were exactly in order, and then my bottom 3 were shaken up. But I actually picked all 10 teams that were in the poll this week. Pat on the back for me there. Okay.
Disrespect.
But anyway, you need to talk to your boy Vince. Vince had Malakoff at 6. Corey,
I did have him at 6.
Go ahead. Y'all talk it out.
Ain't nothing to talk about.
Ain't nothing to talk about.
Malakoff and Winsboro have the same record, and Winsboro lost by 1 point.
He picked who he picked.
I picked Winsboro to go number 4. And then there's Cooper.
Yeah, I've got Cooper at 7. I don't know who they played. I don't know who they played. I have them in my poll. Hey, see your boy CM doesn't even have them in his poll. They're not even ranked.
Don't even have them. Disrespect. 7-0 team. Disrespect.
Wait a minute. I thought I had Cooper in my poll.
No.
Corey,
you had Grand Saline in your poll, which I knocked them out.
Cooper beat Grand Saline the first week.
Don't matter. That's the first week.
Okay. Throwing out the stats. I like it.
Okay.
You hear those facts coming out.
You challenge my poll. You better come with something because I went through something yesterday.
I was the chicken scratch was.
You finna get exactly what you came for.
You was drawing up the map of odds. I don't know what you would do.
Bret, Eddie,
hey, I backed up my argument, and you didn't have nothing to come back with.
Don't do that. Don't do this to yourself, Vince. Don't do this to yourself.
How would I not put Cooper number 2?
I'm trying to be entertaining on the show. Don't make me pull out fact check.
Corey's gonna pull out his fact check.
I need you to fact check because I don't think you're doing it.
Put on your coach's hat, Corey. We pull out this in football. Put on the coach's hat.
I don't think you're doing it.
Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
I'm gonna break down what I thought about what I thought about y'all. I thought overall, of course, everybody had Timpson, and Carlisle was all in our top 3. I had Carlisle the highest at 2. I just had until they lose. I can't take them out of that 2 ranking. I know Malakoff has been solid, but they have that 1 loss, so I just kept them right below. You got Winsboro. I thought they beat Mount Vernon, so they're still ahead of Mount Vernon. That's why I put them ahead of them in my poll. Corey, you got Dangerfield pretty high for having a couple of losses.
Absolutely.
I mean,
because I still believe in Dangerfield.
I think,
get it.
But Beckville, I think is a better team than Dangerfield. I don't know how you have Beckville down because Dangerfield they're in 3A and Timpson put a woodshed beating on them pretty bad. Okay. I know that Beckville lost as well, but they're in the same classification.
Only 2 losses against who? Timpson and Center, right? Okay. All right. And they demolished everybody else. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
They're good. They're good. I just don't think there's good. West Rusk, I think they're gonna start climbing. I think West Rusk, what they have in front of them, they still haven't got Edgewood yet. They haven't played Troop yet. They beat Grand Saline. I still think they're going to take district by the end of the season. I think we're going to see West Rusk climbing the polls. They already have a little bit, even though Vince totally disrespected West Rusk without putting him in the poll. I don't know what he's watching over there.
Would have overlooked him too.
No, hold on. I'm gonna read you my poll, and then you tell me where the disrespect is at. Hold on, let me pull this out.
The disrespect is you kept Atlanta, which just lost to Jefferson in the poll.
Atlanta,
no way they should be in the
poll. Hold on. Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, the only thing that I didn't agree with in your poll was Grand Saline being in the poll. I think your teams are all the right ones. I just think Grand Saline should have dropped out. I think Cooper should have been in at 7-0. Honestly,
I thought about Cooper. I really did.
So just to go back on that argument, Atlanta and West Rusk are both 5-2. Where's the disrespect?
Where's disrespect? West Rusk lost to Tatum, a bigger school, and it was a close game.
Okay.
Who's their other loss? Was first
they lost
week
by 10. They lost to Malakoff.
The Malakoff.
They got blown out by Malakoff.
That's a good. That's a what you call a good loss. It's a good team. Yeah, Malakoff obviously was ahead of
I'm not
them in the
knocking
poll.
it. I'm not knocking it, but I was just looking at, what I see as far as.
See, Derek says we hung 77 on Emory Reigns, but only Emory Reigns only has one win. Yeah. So, but I think the main thing is I saw West Rusk, and I've told y'all this, playing ARP, and ARP is not strong this year. They're an okay team. But what I saw from West Rusk is a quarterback that can make a difference.
But I will say this though.
Mata is the real deal.
Tatum is not better than Jefferson. Tatum is a 4-3 team.
Tatum, but look at the Tatum. Look who they've played. Look who Tatum's played, Vince.
They played center. Okay. They played Dangerfield, which we didn't rank Dangerfield.
Oh, you didn't rank Dangerfield.
You didn't rank Dangerfield.
No, I'm talking to Bret.
I'm
talking to Bret.
I ranked Dangerfield.
We didn't rank Dangerfield.
I did.
You did? Where'd you put him in?
Yes, they're number 10 in my poll.
Read me your list. Let
list.
me figure out who you taking out and you putting in.
Timpson, Carlisle, Malakoff, Winsboro, Mount Vernon, Beckville, Cooper, Edgewood, West Rusk, Dangerfield. He can't figure it out because that's a solid poll.
So I put Timpson, Cooper, Carlisle. Cooper 7-0.
I have Cooper in my poll.
Okay.
I'm just not as high yet. I hadn't seen enough from him.
No, it's okay. It's all right. That's fine.
So Vince, are you
hold on. So I got Carlisle, Winsboro, Mount Vernon, Malakoff, Beckfield, Edgewood, and then I finished it off with Jefferson and Atlanta.
I don't have any gripe with any of your poll picks. I think Jefferson could go in there. Atlanta is the main one that I think should have been out. West Rusk has got to be in there.
I just think when you look at West Rusk and we say, okay, well, they did lose to Malakoff, but then they lost to Tatum. And I'm looking at Tatum. And
look at Tatum's. Read me off Tatum. Read me off Tatum's. Tell me who they played, Vince. Go ahead.
They played center. They played Dangerfield. They played Pittsburgh.
Good team. West Rusk. Good team. Lumberton. They played Lumberton as a state ranked team.
And then they played Gladewater and they played White Oak.
Yeah, that's district games, but their pre-district schedule was very tough. That's why they're 4-3. It's not because they're not good.
But what I'm saying is that when I look at the 4-3, and I look at the team that Atlanta played, and Atlanta is 5-2.
Okay.
And the other teams that they lost. Read me
off Atlanta's schedule.
Let me get them to you.
Corey, you're shaking your head there. You got any?
So they lost to Liberty Allo. They lost to Liberty Allo.
Okay.
But they played Elysian Fields. They played Redwater.
Elysian Fields is trash.
They played Redwater. They played
Redwater.
New Boston.
Who's that? Schedule's weak.
They played Liberty Allo, and they lost that game by 2 points.
And we just talked about Liberty Allo was down.
We did. I don't believe that they down.
So what's your argument then?
My argument is that they ain't lost but 2 games, and the 2 teams they lost.
We just talked about
West
Rusk losses look better than they did than the do.
So this is what Vince is doing.
I don't think that Tatum.
Vince is being undefeated regardless. Vince is rewarding teams for having a better record.
I am not going to have an argument with you.
He says Jefferson's going to win district. It's what Derek says. Tatum allows a lot.
And they lost to him by 8. Why are we acting like they trash?
I'm not going to disagree. Why are we throwing them away? I'm not going to disagree with the fact that you're rewarding teams that are undefeated with better records. What I look at is
Eddie, listen, Eddie, I'm tell you one more time about this Pleasant Grove, bro.
He trying to justify it because Vince is not looking at who they played. He's looking at the records of who they played. Those teams that they played, some of those teams play some really good teams. They've got some hard schedules to play. And I'm not saying they not. I'm just saying you're not rewarding those teams.
Hold on. Here's what I'm asking. Here's what I'm telling you. A week ago, we was all high on Atlanta. Everybody picked Atlanta, right? So they lose 1 game and we throw them out.
No, I didn't say throw them out. I said that they lost.
No, that's what you said earlier.
They lost, so they moved down. That would have been anybody. everybody that loses moves.
It was. It was a tough loss.
So it was
to
Jefferson,
me,
and
Jefferson.
We didn't have Jefferson ranked in the top 10.
We had him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but they've been back and forth as they've lost.
And then they was right up under.
Now, if West Rusk, their losses were early. District is hit and they're rolling.
Just to be honest,
they might
West
be.
Rusk losses are better losses than Jefferson.
In my mind, here's the way I looked at it. 2 weeks ago, we had Jefferson in there, and then we moved them out, right? In my mind, I'm thinking Jefferson might have been a number 11 team. So if Jefferson and Atlanta play and they lose by 8, I'm just swapping that position. I'm not going to take Rusk and jump over both of them.
West Rusk, but they've been impressive. West Rusk beat a good Grand Saline team.
So I'm gonna tell y'all this how it's gonna shape out for this district. Y'all gonna laugh at me. Y'all gonna laugh harder than me for this. I'm just Tatum is 4-3 at this point. They're playing Sabine this week at 1-6. They might score 100 on Sabine. All right, they're gonna be 3-0 in the district. They will end up probably beating Jefferson and Atlanta just off of just sheer momentum. That schedule that they played is better than anything Atlanta and Jefferson has put together. And I think Tatum is battle. I don't care if they give up 50 points. If they score a game, then guess what? They still win the game. I think they end up winning that district either way it goes. My money's on Tatum. That's what I think.
That doesn't surprise me. I could see it going either way.
I'm not buying Atlanta's record.
Well,
and Jefferson hasn't been consistent throughout the year either. So I'm just saying.
Derek's got Jefferson, Atlanta, Tatum, Gladewater. What Derek's got.
Tatum's gonna win that district. Derek Tatum's gonna win that district.
They all got to play each other.
West Rusk is number 6 in the state. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
They all got to play each other.
It's exactly. And I think the thing is with me, it's like
Tatum. I'm telling you right now, my eyes on that.
I'm telling you right now, if Atlanta come out there and bust Tatum in the head, don't get on this show. You hear me, Corey? Don't you get on this show because I'm gonna go nuts.
Who's gonna bust?
If Atlanta busts Tatum in the head, don't come on here. Don't come on here with that.
Derek says Tatum has no D, is what Derek says.
But they got plenty O.
they got lots of O to go with that no D.
You got plenty O.
Come on, man.
It's
Let's run
right.
it. Come on. Let's go.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's move on. We'll go to get our picks in here, guys, for week number 9. So if you haven't gotten your picks in and you're listening tonight, make sure you go get them in. It's netsn.live/pick'em. And you can enter your picks here. We have 10 games each week. It's a lot of fun. We got guys, picking from all across East Texas. It's fun competition. We go back over them every week. You can come on and brag when you get your picks or your team wins, and vice versa. We're going to do the same here. So let's go to this week's pick'em. Now I will say that last week there was a lot of really, really good games. This week it was harder to pick these games because there wasn't as many, games that just could go either way. So there was a lot of. I imagine we're going to agree a lot, and there may be some games that we don't agree on, but there's going to probably do just because there just was a lot of games that are not real, I guess, blowouts, or there's not anything that we're going to be close. There are going to be some that we're going to really think they are going to go one direction. So
you got to say this is what week 8. So this is week or WEAK week 7 or week 8. WEAK.
Yes. Yeah, week. It was a little weak. I have to admit, and I try to go around and include all it. And I went really wide this week. We went to some schools that we hadn't really done many pick'em games. Game 1, we're going to go with Timpson Joaquin. Now, I know it's state Timpson, they're state ranked. This is going to be their toughest test in district. Not to say it's going to be a very hard test. They're going to probably pass with flying colors, but it is the matchup for district here. As Timpson and Joaquin come in undefeated in district play. I'm going with Terry Bussey and them boys. What y'all got?
Busting them by anything they want.
Ain't no doubt.
Yeah, and we got Eddie's got Timpson by 2 touchdowns. I think that's probably on the low end. I think,
I know.
Timpson's
Put a
gonna.
0. You missing a 0
Yeah.
behind it too.
Okay, game 2. Now this is an interesting one because who would have thought the Bullard Panthers have a shot to make the playoffs in that district, fellas? They're coming to the matchup 2-1. They've beaten Brownsburg and Canton, who they were supposed to beat, and they've lost to Carthage. So they're going to finish the season with this week Rusk and then also Center and Van. So all they have to do is probably knock off one of those teams, and they make it. I mean, there's a chance. And
So
would that be a
can't.
victory that Bullard has a chance to make the playoffs in that tough
They
district?
probably will.
They've got a good chance. I went with Rusk. I think Rusk is better, but you just never know. Who you got, guys?
Russ cannot lose that game.
It's in Bullard.
That Russ cannot lose that game. They cannot lose that game.
Joe, going back to Timpson, Joe R's got Timpson by 4 touchdowns, so that's
missing
a little bit closer.
Joe. Missing a 0, Joe. That's 40
touchdowns.
Joe said upset.
Joe,
join
me Friday night on the scoreboard.
Hey, Joe, we never told us where are you from, Joe? We'd like to know, so kind of helps us know where all our supporters are.
Apparently, Joe knows touchdowns, and he. I want him on the Wide Right Scoreboard show on Friday. We're gonna talk about this one. So it's an upset. Joaquin over Timpson. Okay.
He's saying Tim. He's
no,
saying
he's talking about
Bullard.
Oh, okay.
Joe is from Timpson.
Okay.
Shout out to Joe.
Okay. Oh, Joe. All right.
Hey, we love Terry Bussey and them boys, Joe. So keep listening to us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. My bad, Joe. No disrespect.
We love Timpson on our show.
Absolutely.
All right. So game 3, as Corey's upset special coming here again, I'm assuming. Center Carthage. I'm just gonna say Carthage by as many as they want.
There's no justifying this. I'm picking Center. One of those other teams. One of the, what I'm saying.
I'm done.
But it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I know you're not.
Vince should be picking Center because he said Center was.
I know.
I said Center was playing good football like Carthage and Gilmer. I didn't say they were better than them.
Oh, you said they're on the same level.
You said they're in that tier.
Look at this. Eddie says Vince says Center.
So you're not picking Center.
I tell you what, Eddie. I tell you what. I ain't got Pleasant Grove. No.
Joe says he's gonna go with
that's not true.
His roots with Center. So Joe's gonna go with Center as well. It's Shelby County. Hey Joe, make sure if you haven't already, Joe, go get your picks in online, so we can get them in. And then Eddie says Carthage by 4 touchdowns.
I mean, you pick Center. You pick Center.
I know I did pick Center, but I'm talking
about. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. We needed Vince's argument with Corey's pick, and then we'd had a great. But now we've got Corey, which didn't have the argument, picking Center, and Vince that had the argument that Center was right there with Gilmer and Carthage.
There's never going to be an argument for my pick. There's never going to be an argument. You know why I'm picking this one. I'm not going to justify this. I know logically Carthage probably going to beat them by 50 points. Doesn't matter. But I'm always picking along.
So here we go. Here, if anybody that wasn't here, this is Corey's Argyle special. He's going to pick against Carthage until they lose, because they have to lose at some point, right, Vince?
It's proven.
No.
It is a proven fact.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Everybody's got to lose. All right, game 4.
Let's go.
This is a big game right here. Pleasant Grove, Liberty Ilo. This is going to solve a lot of our arguments tonight. Who's the better team? I'm going with Pleasant Grove in this one. Guys, who you got?
I don't know. I mean, Liberty Ilo may be better than what people think, according to Vince. I mean, they may make a run for State. I don't know.
Eddie's got
One of
Pleasant
y'all
Grove.
don't over exaggerate what I said.
Derek's got Pleasant Grove by
Trust me,
21.
nobody's gonna over exaggerate it off what you said.
Eddie says,
wants
"Come
to know
on,
who
Vince,
I
who you got?
Don't tell him.
Who you got, Vince?"
Who do you have? All that rhetoric he just spit,
I'm gonna be
and all
honest
the
with you. I'm gonna
diagrams
be
he
honest
just
with you.
have.
I'm gonna be honest with
He
you. I did pick
picked
Liberty
Pleasant
Islo,
Grove.
but I
did.
will say this. I will say this. I had Pleasant Grove at first, but I realized that I in my poll I put Liberty Islo ahead of them. So what I thought was that I have to back up what I put in my poll.
Gotta
And
live
so
with
that's
it.
why I
have to
picked
make
Liberty Islo.
You have to make two bad
I have
decisions
to believe
instead
it.
of one.
I have to believe.
You make one bad decision,
You
you got to
don't
back
believe
up that bad decision with another bad decision.
I got to go all the way with it.
Liberty Island by 28 minimum.
Now, here's what I'm gonna say. If Liberty Islo come out and win this game, I'm gonna need some. My bad, Vince. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know. And from you too, Eddie. I'm gonna need you to come on the show.
Game 5. Another interesting matchup that's probably going to decide this district. Beckville, Frankston. I'm going with Beckville. I think they're the better team. I think it's going to be a better game than probably what most people think. We've talked about Frankston a little bit this year, and this will tell us how good Frankston is right here. We'll see how they do against Beckville, which is ranked pretty high on our poll. So should be a good one. Who you guys got?
Beckville. I mean, that's simple.
Eddie's got him by 3 touchdowns.
I
think I picked Beckville.
And he's smiling at you, Vince, for your
because I want him to come on. I want him to come on here. I want to come on the show.
You got Beckville. Who you got, Vince?
Yeah, I got Beckville. Yeah.
Game 6 is an interesting one. Lindale Palestine. Lindale coming off of getting just demolished. Palestine coming off a big win over Jacksonville. And this would really help Palestine's efforts to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Lindale is going to be ticked off. I think Lindale is going to take this one.
Yeah. I feel like Lindale is supposed to win, but the way they've been losing, Palestine is the type of team that could beat it, that could beat them, because Palestine runs the football well, and that's how they've been losing. But I did pick Lindale. I don't know. Okay. I have no idea.
Eddie's got Lindale by 2 touchdowns. Let's see. Next up, Game 7, Tyler High Lufkin. I have a feeling I know how both of y'all are going to pick already in this one. Here's the thing. Is what you've done all season versus one game in this one. To me, I think Lufkin overall has been a better team all season.
They have.
Tyler High did win last week, but I'm going with Lufkin.
It's the LP.
Well, Corey was going with them. He's been riding them all year.
Well, I know how you talked up Tyler High, so I'm kind of figuring we're leaning that direction.
Well, I ain't really talking them up. I just said they got to win. I ain't talking them up.
They just got to win. Like, man, they look good last week. Man, they going. I mean, you were talking.
They
about
look good last week. Yeah, I said they look good last week. I ain't say they better than Lufkin. Okay. I know Lufkin better than them. They got to win, is what I said.
Okay,
they have to.
Okay. Well, everybody has to win. Make the playoffs.
So
everybody's got to win.
No, if they lose this, they don't even get a shot.
So who you going?
This is a must win.
So you thinking that they're going to beat Lufkin?
I want to see if they rally. I just want to see if they rally. That's all.
To be 1,000% honest with you, it's a very winnable game. Lufkin is not as strong as they used to be, and it's one of those games where they could probably rally and play hard enough to beat Lufkin. I don't think that they will, but this is one of those games. You win this game,
I really don't think that they will either. I really think Lufkin is going to win this game, but I just thought, I was like, if I'm gonna pick an upset, this is the one I want it to be, because if they win this, they just got to get through Forney in the playoff.
Because no one else is gonna pick.
You should have picked Pleasant Grove over Liberty Idol. That was a good upset.
According to your
upset.
Hey, you could have picked the center over Carthage since you think they're that close. That would have been an upset.
That was mine. That's my upset. He's got
Oh, sorry,
pick
Corey. Sorry.
This is the upset I want. I don't have no stake in center and Carthage or nothing like that.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Troop West Rusk. Big game for Troop. They come off a big win over ARP last week. West Rusk comes off a big win over Grand Saline. West Rusk is rolling right now, and I'm taking the West Rusk Raiders.
Yeah, I think I picked West Rusk.
I think
West
Rusk.
West Rusk Raiders.
Yeah.
Corey's got Eddie's got them by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Everybody going with West Rusk in this one?
Yeah. West Rusk.
There it
All
is.
right. Next up, Wascom Harmony. Another big game for district play there. You got Wascom and Harmony. I think that's for first place. You got Wascom at 4-2, Harmony at 4-4, but Harmony is 4-0 in district play, and Wascom is 3-0. So you got Dangerfield there too. So you got 3 teams undefeated in district. So this is going to be a big game. Determines who's going to win. Of course, you got Dangerfield looming, so Dangerfield could beat both of them. But right now, all 3 of those teams are undefeated in district, so a big game nonetheless. Awesome. So I've got Wascom as well, Corey. I'm going with Wascom. I think they're overall better. I think it's going to come down to Wascom Dangerfield for the district championship.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie's got Wascom as well. So it's a good one for Eddie.
Bye, Eddie.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Game of the week. We're going to go with Vince's Cooper versus Honey Grove. Another game that is going to do a lot to determine district championship. Cooper 7-0, 3-0 in district play. Honey Grove at 6-1 and 3-0 in district play. So we've got a really good one here. I went with Cooper.
I went with Cooper, but they ain't my Cooper. That's Eddie's Cooper. I didn't know nothing about Cooper till Eddie kept talking about him. Because I didn't have him in my poll.
Give Eddie some props. He's trying to make Eddie give him.
Yeah, he's trying to come together.
No,
be all nice.
No, I ain't trying to be nice to nobody. Everybody can get it.
Eddie's got Cooper by a touchdown.
Brought up Cooper. I never even brought Cooper up. I didn't know who Cooper was till Eddie brought him.
I know they're good at basketball. I know that.
Yeah.
They used to be.
So that does it for our picks of the week. We got some pretty good games this week. Right now, we got 9 people have picked this week. So make sure if you haven't made your picks yet, go get them in. I think hopefully, Joe, you can go get your picks in for us. We'd love to have you join our contest. Anybody else that's listening that hasn't got them in, try to get them in. Lock them in before Friday's games.
Tell them where to go.
Yep, NETsn.live/pick'em. We'll have the updated pick'em standings updated along with the polls posted probably either this evening or tomorrow sometime. They'll have them up. I'll tweet that out when I get those updated at this point. So any final thoughts this week's games, fellas? Anybody got it?
A lot of noise has been thrown out there, and I'm anxious to see how this goes. I'm really anxious to see. Vince, yeah, I wish y'all said, Vince, you still got that paper you had up? I just want to see that paper. This is gonna justify what Vince is talking.
Eddie, he worked really hard. He worked really hard on those polls.
I'm like, you got a paper for that? Like, yeah, you got to see.
If Liberty Allo win this game, y'all gonna have to go check on Eddie. Y'all gonna go check on him.
This game Friday on the Wide Right Scoreboard
Eddie ain't gonna
show.
go home. Eddie ain't gonna go home if Liberty Allo win that game.
If it's doing that Friday, you gotta be on the show because I gotta see this in real time. This is gonna be funny. Friday on the Wide Right Scoreboard show, we're gonna bring this out. The disrespect will be televised. I promise you that much. It will be televised.
Pleasant Grove better win because if they don't, they coming right off of my poll.
That's
not disrespectful. I'm not putting them on there.
It's how many they'll win by.
And those
I'm gonna put Liberty Allo on there twice.
And those of you listening on the podcast platform, Eddie said good stuff. y'all make sure and check on Vince. Lots of hallucinating tonight. So,
some of that drink. Ain't soda's drink.
And speaking of that, guys, we're now on Lone Star Gridiron's podcast platform. So if you've been listening to us by podcast before, I've got the new podcast link on the website up. But you can go check us out, LoneStarGridiron.com, and we're under the podcast area there. So hopefully you're able to download us. If you're listening to us on LoneStarGridiron.com podcast, come check us out live every Wednesday night, 8:30, Wide Right Scoreboard Show at Friday at 10 with Corey. So those are the 2 nights you can come check us out live. We interact and chat with everyone. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely this Friday.
New people on every week, so it's growing. Awesome. Just share it with everybody. We want to get all of East Texas talking with us on Wednesdays and Fridays. So check us out, LoneStarGridiron.com, and look for the NETsn shows. Guys, that's pretty much it. We'll go here and check out a few of our little things to clean up here. We've got the Wide Right Scoreboard Show, as Corey talked about. We'll be on at 10 p.m. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/NETsn live. All our stuff is streamed there as well. And then also our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NETsn live. Go subscribe to our channel. Tell everyone to subscribe and like all our videos. It really helps us. Even if you don't always listen there, it gives you a good platform. It notifies you when we go live, so you'll know and never miss any of our stuff. So let's see. Also, on Twitter at NETsn_live. So that's the place you can follow us on social media. Our store's live. We still got our hats for sale. Go check out and get his hat. We've got some more merchandise coming soon on the store, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, Vince, you got a nice one. That's a nice looking hat. May have another model coming out soon, so keep your eye out for those. Also, let's check on the Twitter challenge. For those of you who don't know, Corey and Vince have a Twitter challenge. Corey, you may gain some followers, and Vince may lose some tonight after all this discussion. Tell them where they can, guys. Tell them where they can follow y'all.
Follow me at your boy CM. That's my Twitter handle. If you want to follow somebody that likes you, if you like to be entertained, and their pick'ems are not, diagram based and also the kind of basis, whatever. If you want pickers to come from the heart, from the gut, and you want to be entertained, follow your boy CM. All right, that's what you want to do. A la Suge Knight.
You finished? So if y'all want some real live, pick'em knowledge, and you don't want all that flip flopping you get with some other folks around here, follow your boy at Prince V 83. And we winning. We doing this thing, man. Like I'm up by what, 20, 30?
The count now is actually Corey made some headway this week.
He made a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Corey is up to, I believe, 180 this week.
Oh, okay. I gotta do some more work then. I gotta get out there and networking.
Vince has 194, so he's up by 14. Oh my goodness!
It's 5 and 2.
Is that his diagram?
That is not what I had up.
It was 5 and 2 teams. It was everywhere.
Also, go follow me at Bret 20. Come if you're gonna follow these two guys over here, go follow me as well. And also our Twitter handle at NETsn Live. Guys, it's been a good show tonight. So we'd like to thank our sponsor, LoneStarGridiron.com. Shout out to Chris, Terry, Grant, and all those guys. Thanks for everything they do for us each and every day. Again, we've got some big news coming up here in the next few months. We've got basketball schedule release. We've got some other things behind the curtains that are going on. That's some good stuff. So make sure just let everyone know about us. Thank everyone for joining us tonight. We had a really good turnout tonight. A lot of chats, a lot of new faces. So make sure you come back and join us each Wednesday night and Friday night. For Vince and Corey, I'm Bret. We'll catch you next time right here on NETsn Weekly Wrap-Up Show. Good night, everyone.
Go Mavs, go Astros. The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at NETsn.live.